Hi, it's Mark from Top Local. We're here with Bernie Pollock, Pollock Automotive in Vancouver, Vancouver's favorite auto service experience. How you doing today, Bernie?
I'm doing very well, Mark.
So our first hangout of 2017, and we're going to talk about Ford diesel trucks and how reliable they are. Let's start with older to newer. Were the good old days really good, the good old days?
Well, in this case, yes, to some degree. So we'll go back as far as the 7.3 liter Ford diesel, which came out in the 1990s. So that's going back a long ways now. We're looking back 20 years, which is getting pretty old for a vehicle. Yes, the 7.3 liter diesel is built by International, very reliable engine. We still work on them. We still see them. Not a lot of problems still. I mean, the actual basic engine, the valves, the pistons, the timing components, all very reliable. There's a few sensor issues with these things. The fuel injectors go bad from time to time, but I mean, these are getting to be old vehicles now, so they're really generally pretty good. I mean, they are a dirty running engine. The emission systems are not sophisticated. And they're noisy, but they get good fuel economy for the size of truck, and they are very reliable.
And so what about some of the other models? They had quite a few different sizes of engines through the years. How were they?
Well, let's get into the 6 liter. This is the legendary engine that has, I was thinking about when we were doing this hangout, it's probably easier for me to talk about what doesn't go wrong with this engine than what does, because there are so many things. And if you look on the internet, you'll probably be scared to ever own one of these vehicles. But I mean, there are the positive thing about the 6 liter. We'll start with that. It's got decent fuel economy, good power, little noisy by modern diesel standards. But there's a lot that goes wrong with it. I mean, like the base engine itself, like the bottom end of the engine is really solid. The pistons, the block, the crankshaft, there are very few problems ever occur with that part of it. But everything else, there's a lot of things. Head gaskets, EGR coolers, fuel injectors, turbochargers, fuel injection control modules, a variety of sensors. There's just, the list goes on and on and on. So Ford, well, this is an International engine, but there was many revisions made over the years. This engine was made from 2003 right into 2010. It was still used in vans, but not used in trucks after 2007, I think. So yeah, a lot of things. The list goes on. I would say this is not if you're wanting to buy a vehicle that's reliable, a 6 liter engine is definitely not the best. However, that being said, we've got clients with them that have well over 200,000 kilometers that had like almost nothing go wrong with them. So, but that's usually the exception more than the rule. So after the 6 liter, Ford changed to a 6.4 liter. Again, another International made engine.
So we don't hear a lot about those. How are they?
Well, they're definitely better in many respects over the 6 liter. I mean, a lot of the reliability issues that happen with the 6 liter, had blown head gaskets, injectors, all of those sort of things don't seem to occur with the 6.4 liter engine. What we've seen in our shop mostly with the 6.4 is a lot of cooling system leaks, and they're expensive to fix because they're diesels. The radiators are enormous and expensive. Also other issues are a lot around the emission system. These are the first engines that use a particulate filter and a system to burn it off. And what happened with these engines is they get horrendously bad fuel economy. And it's always hard for me to reconcile how an engine can burn more fuel and be cleaner at the tailpipe. It just does not make any sense. But for some reason it does. For some reason that's what they do. But there's a lot of issues that happen with these. I mean, people do eliminate the emission systems. It's not legal, possibly not ethical, but everyone, people are free to do what they want, and it's not like there's a cop on every corner checking it. So, so definitely more reliable, but they're not a great engine from the fuel economy standpoint. So after a few years of using this engine, Ford decided to go into building their own diesel because their reputation had suffered for so many years from these two, the 6 liter and 6.4 liter. They built the 6.7 liter diesel. That's their latest model.
So the latest, and is it the greatest? How are these?
Well, so far so good. We do a lot of maintenance service on customers with these trucks. Haven't had one problem yet. Haven't seen anything, but I mean, we are in the greater scheme of things, a small shop. I did do a little reading on the internet. There's a few little issues here and there, but really, I mean, overall, compared to the previous generation, last two diesel models, these things are great. Very few problems, and Ford is now, for this model year, brought out a new version of this engine with a larger turbocharger and a few other features to address whatever concerns they've had with it. So I'd say this is definitely a good engine. It's definitely a good way to go. If I was going to buy a Ford truck, this is the one I'd buy. But of course, being newer, you're going to be spending a lot more money.
So we spent a lot of time on engines. What about the rest of the truck?
Well, that's a good, excellent question. So, I mean, the rest of the truck, and so these engines would be found in the F250 and F350 models, actually, and up to larger 450s and 550s. Overall, the trucks are pretty good. I mean, the transmissions don't have a lot of problems. Drivetrain-wise, the differentials are solid. A lot of these are in four-wheel drive trucks, and so as time goes by, things do wear out, like the ball joints and the universal joints in the front end. And when they do wear out, they are very expensive to fix. Brakes are large, so you do spend a lot more money on brakes. And I will say Ford brakes do seem to be more expensive to fix than a lot of other vehicles. For some reason, the calipers the caliper dust seals tend to break on Fords at a very early age and frequently. So a lot of times you're doing a brake job with pads, rotors, and calipers, which can be substantially more expensive than a lot of other trucks where the pads and rotors need to be replaced. But I think the rest of the truck itself is pretty good. They're pretty solid, and I mean, they're certainly a nice truck to drive. They feel good. They operate well. So that's definitely a positive. But it's a big truck. It's a big vehicle. It's complicated, so that adds to the expense, and you need to know that before you get into it.
So, any further thoughts on Ford diesel pickups?
Well, as I said earlier, I mean, if I was going to buy a diesel Ford, I'd definitely be looking at a 6.7 liter model, as they seem to be the most reliable. Unless you want to go really low budget and get something old, the 7.3 still does work well if you can find one that's got some decent mileage, low mileage on it. That could be a way to go too. Depends on your budget. But overall, they're good trucks, but just know what you're getting into.
All right, so if you're looking to get service on your Ford diesel pickup in Vancouver, the guys to call are Pollock Automotive. They're experts in this. They've done thousands. Give them a call, 604-327-7112, or check out their website, pollockautomotive.com. We've got 2 or 3 years worth of hangouts on there, tons of information about almost every kind of car there is. Check it out. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark.